We bring it back to the studio here in Paris. I will introduce you now to our guests that we have with us this hour. First of all, we have Anne-Laure Delatte. She's an economist at CNRS, or the National Centre for Scientific Research here in France. Welcome to the programme. It's a pleasure to have you here. Also with us, we have Keith Hart, Centennial Professor of Economic Anthropology from the London School of Economics. Welcome to the programme as well, sir. Let me first ask you then, what's your sense? Will it be a yes or a no? If I start with you, Keith.
Well, I thought it might be a shade yes, but that indication suggests otherwise. I think the main point is that the vote is split almost half and half. And the interesting questions are what would be the consequence of either winning. I mean, for example, if it were yes, I mean, I've seen some quite ridiculous politics in the media and even in some of the officials that have commented on this. The fact is that Tsipras remains the head of government, regardless of the outcome of this vote, and you know, it's not unthinkable that if it was a yes vote, that he would take over responsibility for resuming negotiations with Brussels. Some people have said he'd be bound to leave. It's, I think, as unlikely as the idea that a no vote would lead automatically to withdrawal from the Eurozone.
Let's pick up with Anne-Laure on that issue. Would a no vote mean an exit from the Eurozone? There has been this debate all week long, essentially, on what a no vote would mean. What do you think of that?
So the main point is that it's not that clear, and this is not automatic, in the sense that the decision to leave the euro area would be a sovereign decision. Greece has to take this decision. The European institutions, Merkel, the different governments cannot force Greece out of the euro area. So this is not as clear as, like, the no will mean that the European institution will automatically force Greece out of the euro area. Now, for technical reasons, my intuition is that Greece may be technically forced out of the single currency. The
so-called Grexit that we've been talking about, that Greece would essentially fall out of the Eurozone by default, essentially.
By default, and also by liquidity squeeze, which is exactly what happened in Argentina 10 years ago, or in 2000.
And when you say liquidity squeeze, you mean that the European Central Bank would cut off its emergency funding for Greek banks. That's essentially what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's essentially what will probably happen with the no vote. If the no vote wins indeed tonight, I don't see how the ECB could justify to proceed with the liquidity funding that it provides to the banks with this decision, right? So without this liquidity provided by the European Central Bank, the banking sector will automatically default, be bankrupt, and the only solution to keep on carrying out activity, to proceed with the activity, will probably to adopt a currency with which you have liquidity, right? There will be probably a deficit of currency, basically, in the economy. Today, the Greek people are managing their everyday life, or their everyday spending with only 60 euros per day. This solution cannot proceed for months, and that will probably lead the Greek government to make the final decision to adopt a currency that they can issue. And they cannot issue the currency.
What kind of time frame are we talking about that?
Well, very quickly. That can be very quick. How long can the people live with 60 euros a day? Especially, I mean, the 60 euros a day will very soon not be available in the banks anymore. So, in this sense, while there are some major differences between Greece and Argentina. In this sense, the default and the Greek exit will probably be very technical. The sense that you need currency, you need cash in an economy, you need to be able to carry out transactions, and to carry out transactions, the Greek government might be forced to make the decision to issue its own currency.
So essentially what you're saying is that a so-called Grexit could happen perhaps in the next week. Is that essentially your message?
So I'm
I'm putting you on the spot, I know,
yeah.
but I'm trying to get a sense of the mechanics here.
So I'm just trying to make a sense of what will happen on the basis of what happened in Argentina. Until Argentina made the decision, the Argentinian government made the decision to break, to exit the dollar and to issue its own currency, nobody was able to say when they would make the decision. But basically, as long as the people can proceed spending euros and carrying out their transaction, pay their bread with euro, that they can keep on with this system. But this can be quite quick, yeah. So.
All right. It's still very early on, we should say, after the closure of the polls in Greece.
If I may add something, and I'm sure we will discuss that, I don't think this is a good decision. I mean, they will probably be forced out for technical reason, but this is dramatic, not for Greece. For Greece, this is probably less dramatic than for the rest of Europe.
All right.
We'll probably discuss that later.
Exactly. We're going to return to that issue. Let's just bring you the latest that we are getting in from Greece. According to exit polls that are just coming in, the no vote has won the day. We're just getting through one poll from the Institute Metron. It says that the no vote has garnered 49% of voters in Greece, whereas the yes vote garnered 46% of voters. Another institute called GPO says that the no vote got 51.5%, whereas the yes vote won 48.5%. Still, we need to remember that this is very early days. These are just exit polls at this stage. We're not expecting any real results coming out of Greece imminently. So counting is underway, we believe, but it's still going to take some time before we got some real results to speak of. So it's still very much early days, so to speak. There's a lot of things happening, of course, around the world. I'm going to turn now to my colleague Nadia Shalbi, who's here with the rest of the headlines this evening.